wanna talk about this real quick? Sean says it's up here now.
Go for it.
Strawman Me Bro says Samus Returns on 3DS and GBA Metroid on Wii U Virtual Console are now top sellers. Looks like people are interested in Metroid now. Looking forward to Ballon review.
All 13 people with their Wii U still plugged in decided to download. I need to see metrics of how many games digitally in the virtual console for the Wii U are being sold. If it is over triple digits, I would be blown the fuck away. It's nice to see people have an interest in it. It means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of things. And yes, I understand what hype is, OJ, but we are hyping up the people. Because if you own a Wii U, you're a fucking Nintendo diehard. Those are the only people who bought the Wii U.
Would you be impressed if Nintendo dropped, we'll just say hypothetically, Fusion onto the Switch?
But
then it's just a game you buy straight up, right? And it topped the charts in the Switch. Would that impress you?
More so than this, yes.
Okay.
That would definitely be a bigger deal. Okay. That would be something that's headline, it's big headline newsworthy. This, come on.
Imagine that we're sitting here and we're sitting here talking about 3 million copies. That means it can barely, you're talking about it's going to barely outsell Pikmin. It can't even sell more than Pikmin 3 Deluxe.
Okay. You want to go that route? Let's go that route because I came with a statistic for you because this is all I do now is just research things like this. Did you know that I saw somebody made a tweet today that said Metroid, it was always more popular even when Pikmin was at its peak. Did you know, good sir, that Pikmin 2 outsold Metroid Prime 2 on the Nintendo GameCube? Did you know, good sir, that Pikmin 3 almost outsold Metroid Prime 3, where Metroid Prime 3 was on a system with 100 million install base, whereas Pikmin 3 was on a system with 13 million install base? So if you want to scale that accordingly, Pikmin 3 would have shat all over Metroid Prime 3 corruption.
That is some insane mental gymnastics.
No, it's not. How?
Your ass to do that, considering that Metroid games on the Super Nintendo sold better. Metroid games sold way better.
Wait, you want to bring up Super Nintendo? I'm glad. I am glad. I could give you no. I looked this up. I looked this up today because this is what I do.
Insane.
In my spare time. Okay. Super Metroid.
If that's the case, the Metroid Prime on the GameCube still outsold Pikmin.
And you're right.
About low install bases.
But that was a huge game for Metroid Prime. It was a complete diversion from what we had seen. And then ever since then, because somebody put Paper Mario sales statistics on my Twitter, and they were like, well, look at Paper Mario games. They've gone up over time. I'm like, yeah, now do it with fucking Metroid. They go down over time. Like, but let's go back to Super Metroid. Super Metroid, I'm not reaching. Super Metroid sold 1.42 million on the SNES. Looking at, hold on, Super Nintendo game sales. Here's a list of games that outsold that. Super Puyo Puyo on the Super Nintendo outsold Metroid. Mortal Kombat 2 outsold Metroid. This is a fallacy.
This has nothing to do with what we're talking about.
You brought up Super Metroid. I'm just showing you games that outsold other games that Super Metroid to show you that the Metroid franchise, while it is a great franchise, while all of us here love it on the cast, it does not sell well. One exception to the rule was Metroid Prime, and that was because it was a complete overhaul of what we had seen from Metroid. It was a game that got Game of the Year nominations. It was right up there with Halo for people as far as a groundbreaking experience. And then what happened? Everything went back to
let me ask you a question. Over the years of all of the virtual console releases, you really think Super Metroid isn't more popular than what it shows up on the sales charts for the Super Nintendo? You really think that, for real?
Oh, not at all. I'm just talking about on the system it released on initially. Well, and Metroid was a very popular game because you remember Metroid on the NES was the best selling 2D Metroid. So it's not like this was a brand new franchise that nobody had ever heard of before releasing on the Super Nintendo.
You really think that Metroid Dread is gonna struggle to sell 3 million?
Yes, 100%. In the first year, yes, it's gonna sell 2 to 2.5 million. Right. No question asked. We'll see. We'll visit this. And when we get our sales statistics. But if I'm wrong, which I doubt I am, I would be very, very surprised.
January 30th, they're going to drop like 5 million units in that sales
Okay,
report.
guys. So here's what this is what we've learned, that Pikmin 3 is definitely on par. Pikmin Deluxe is on par with Metroid Dread. That's what we've learned tonight. All right.
In terms of sales, sure.
We need another Metroid game to come out, and we got to see that Switch effect. Switch effect was strong enough to push Zelda to the next level. So
didn't do much for Bayonetta.
What about Xenoblade? Push Xenoblade to the next level?
Okay, what did Xenoblade do on the Switch?
It did over 2 million. It's 100% increase over its best-selling one on the Wii, which.
But this is wait a minute. Over 2 million, only over 2 million. This is a game that everyone loves. Everyone loved the Wii version. They loved it on the 3DS.
You're having trouble understanding.
Shulk, oh God, Shulk makes my nipples hard. He's my favorite character.
You're having trouble understanding the Switch effect. I think that's where the problem is.
That's interesting.
It's not about the amount. It's the fact that it got more popular, a lot more popular, 100% increased more popular. Not the total amount. Yeah, 2 million isn't amazing. Like, oh my gosh, it's not, but it's way more popular than what it was because of the Switch. I think that's where we clash. That's where it is. I think that's where the issue is.
We will see.
It's going to come in at 3,000,001 copies. And Sean pushed it over with his 2 copies.
And if it does, it does. I just don't see it happening.
You're underestimating, Sean. You're underestimating your own channel.
In YouTube, I know Fire Emblem, but like I always say, Fire Emblem had the benefit of Japan, where Metroid does not have the benefit of Japan, because since the Famicom Metroid, Japan does not give a shit about Metroid.
Now's a good time to turn it around.
Now's a good time to turn it around.
I'm doing pretty good so far on the charts. Let's see how they like that.
Now's a good time.
We'll see.
They like 2D Metroid though. So
once the initial fans of Metroid and initial Nintendo diehards buy the game, how many other people will be coerced?
That mainstream needs to come in.
What the hell is this guy commenting on? This guy writes, RGT is right. Nate, get ready to eat crow. I haven't even said anything.
Yeah, you eat it, Nate. You get ready, Nate. Eat that crow.
Nate's kind of like in the middle on this whole thing, because I think even Nate's like, I don't know, it might, maybe not.
Shit, his name was like right in the middle. Tube, sorry. Evidently, I didn't say Jew, but I'm part Jewish, so it's fine. I learned that like a year ago.
Recently discovered,
and you're verified.
Yeah, I'm verified. Come on.
Fernando says, I need that RGT karate story that he mentioned 2 weeks ago.
Oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. Basically, so in 8th grade, like me and my friend were just like absolute shitheads, and like we hated everyone. And there was like this clique of like kind of popular, like kind of ghetto, like white kids. And like one of them was like 16 and still in 8th grade. I remember his name was James, and he had like a really thick mustache. And like, so we started shit with them. And so our parents got really concerned because like James could obviously drive a car because he was 16. So like these kids would like pull up to our houses and stuff and like try to fight us. So they put us in karate. And I remember my mom signed me up for 10 lessons. And I was like, this is stupid. I don't want to do it. And so she was like, no, you need to do it. You need to learn some self-defense. I was like, Dad can teach me self-defense. It'll be more interesting. But no, so I did this karate thing. And for some reason, like, I think it was either the first or the second lesson. Like we started sparring. And so they put me up with like this 40-year-old guy, and he's like sparring with me. And we had just learned like you cup your hand, like you hit it in the side of the head, like for the temple. And so he kept like doing it very lightly to me. I'm like, all right, man, chill out. I understand, just, you don't have to actually hit me, I'll do the little guard thing. And like, he hit me, and it like, almost like full force, I felt, because I was kind of talking back to him, and I got really pissed and like ripped my gi off and like threw a chair and just sat outside until my mom came and picked me up. And then I was like, I'm not going back. And she was like, but I paid for 10 lessons. You've only done 2. I was like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going back. And I never went back. So she wasted her money.
So he hit you in the side of the temple with a chop, and that was
like that's what we had been learning. And like I was like, yo, chill out. And he just went bat. And I was like, nope, I ain't doing this. Like, because I'll hit you with a chair, or stab you with a knife.